Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got a huge update to talk about, something that's going to change how you play PUBG in some really interesting ways. I'm talking about update 38.1. And trust me, this one isn't just a simple patch or minor bug fix. It actually changes the feel of the game, especially when it comes to SMGs, vehicles, and even the world itself. So if you've been away for a while or maybe just playing casually, there's a lot to catch up on because the devs really packed this update with new mechanics, adjustments, and some pretty wild collaborations that you're definitely going to want to check out. So, first off, let's talk about when it's dropping and how long you'll have to wait. For PC players, the maintenance is happening on October 15th, starting around midnight UTC, which means for those of you in India, that's around 5:30 in the morning. Now, the servers are expected to be down for about 8.5 hours, so you're looking at early afternoon before you can hop back in, somewhere around 2 p.m. Istio. And on the side for console players, you'll have your turn a little later, but we'll get to that in a minute when we talk about the special modes. Now, the first thing most of you are probably going to notice once you load up is how different the gunplay feels, especially if you're someone who relies on SMGs. In this update, the developers went pretty hard on reducing SMG accuracy during both hipfire and sustained fire. We're talking roughly a 57% reduction in hipfire accuracy and about a 51% reduction when you hold down that trigger. That's huge. It basically means that those moments when you'd run into a building, hold down the spray, and melt someone, it's not going to feel quite as reliable now. You'll need to control your bursts, or even better, use your movement and cover to make up for it. It's definitely a change that's going to favor more disciplined shooters and probably push more people toward Rs or even DMR play in close to mid-range fights. But what's really cool is that they didn't just mess with weapons, they also did some big things with vehicles. If you've been playing for a while, you know how finicky some of the cars have felt in the past. The Dacia, the Mirado, the Coupe RB, they've all had slightly inconsistent handling, sometimes almost cartoonishly so. Well, this update finally evens that out. They've improved the way vehicles handle overall, and they even added a unified window tint system for vehicle skins. So now when you switch cars or use special skin variants, you won't get that weird mismatch between tints or glass transparency. It's a small detail, but it makes everything feel a bit more polished, especially for people who like to show off their skins or record cinematic content. But let's get to one of the biggest and most game-changing things they've added, destructible terrain. That's right, for the first time in PUBG, the environment itself is starting to break apart based on what happens in the match. Right now, this feature is only available on Miramar, and it's not enabled for ranked or esports modes yet, but it's wild. Basically, if you throw grenades, use mortars, or fire off a Panzerfaust, those explosions can now actually alter the landscape, breaking rocks, opening up paths, or even destroying some forms of cover. It's not total destruction like some other shooters, but it's enough to make firefights feel way more dynamic. And just imagine what that means for late circles on Miramar, where everyone's using natural cover. You might think you're safe behind that boulder, but if someone rolls up with a C4 or a Panzerfaust, that cover might not be there in 2 seconds. It's going to change how people approach the endgame. And while we're still on Miramar, there's another small but fun addition, the pickaxe. You can use it to help with destructible terrain or just to mess around melee style. It's not going to completely change combat, but it adds that little bit of flair, especially for those who like experimenting with the sandbox side of the game. For Deston fans, they didn't leave you out either. The gas tanks on Deston are now destructible too, so those industrial areas are going to get way more dangerous and maybe a little more fun. Imagine you're holding a building, someone starts shooting at the gas tank next to you, and boom, instant chaos. It's a small change, but it'll make those urban fights a bit more unpredictable. Now let's shift gears to ranked play. This is where the devs made some smart quality of life updates that should make ranked a little more accessible. They've slightly lowered the performance expectations per tier, so it's not as punishing if you have a few rough matches. It's still competitive, but they're giving players a bit more breathing room. Plus, there's a cool reward twist this time. The P90 ranked weapon skins are now permanent tier rewards, which is awesome because let's be real, ranked players deserve something lasting to show for all those stressful sessions. Another subtle but important tweak is that the pre-made party tier gap is being expanded from 10 to 12, which gives a little more flexibility if you want to squad up with friends who aren't perfectly matched in rank. And one more neat touch, vehicle camouflage netting is now added for ranked and custom esports modes, which can make a big difference in how stealthy your rotations feel. Is a social urine. Observer and quality of life improvements are also getting a massive upgrade this patch. If you've ever used replay or spectator mode, you know it could be a little clunky at times. Now they're making it way more intuitive. You can view match rankings directly in the observer interface, search players using Control F, and even switch to killer camera instantly to see what went wrong in a fight. The kill feed now lasts longer, which is actually really useful for content creators who want to analyze engagement. Throwable trajectories also disappear more quickly, so it cleans up your screen during intense fights. Plus, the end-of-match sequence has been tightened up, and a bunch of little UI details, like minimap readability and overall visibility, are just smoother. It's the kind of stuff that doesn't make headlines, but makes the game feel more polished overall. And okay, let's talk about the fun part. The new arcade mode, Collaboration. This one's wild. PUBG x Skibidi Toilet. Yeah, you heard that right. It's an official limited time mode, and it's as bizarre as it sounds, but in the best possible way. For PC players, it's running from October 22nd to November 5th, and for console players, it'll go from October 30th to November 13th. It's not just a skin pack, it's a full arcade event mode set on Miramar, with a mix of chaos, calf humor, and the kind of offbeat fun that PUBG rarely leans into. It's definitely one of those you have to try it yourself experiences. On top of that, there's also a brand new multi-pass system coming with this update, and this is something people have been asking for forever. Before, you could only progress through one pass at a time, meaning if you bought an event pass and a survivor pass, you had to choose where your effort went. Now, that's all changing. You can run up to 3 passes at the same time, and your progress applies simultaneously to all of them. Your levels and XP are tracked separately, so you're getting more rewards for the same playtime. It's honestly a great move, especially since the devs are introducing both a new Survivor Pass and the Event Pass for Skibidi Toilet with this same patch. That's going to give everyone something to grind for, no matter what mode they prefer. They also added 8 new medals to Mastery, which is perfect for people who like chasing those small personal goals. And speaking of progress, the bug fixes this time are actually pretty solid. They've addressed some long-standing issues, like gas cans not properly exploding when shot with certain guns, death boxes disappearing when placed near doorways, and even that weird bug where players would appear to be floating when prone in certain locations. Oh, and if you've ever had that awkward moment where bots got stuck outside the play area and didn't die, that's been fixed too. So when you think about it all together, this update feels like a statement that PUBG is still evolving. We've seen a lot of shooters come and go over the years, but what keeps PUBG alive is that mix of realism, tension, and unpredictability. And now, with destructible terrain, improved handling, and new arcade events, it feels like the developers are doubling down on making every match feel more dynamic. If you're someone who loves ranked, the adjustments are going to make your climb feel more rewarding. If you're more into casual or creative play, the arcade mode and multi-pass system are perfect to keep things interesting. And if you're a veteran who just wants the game to feel cleaner and smoother, all those observer and UI tweaks are going to make a big difference without changing the essence of what PUBG is. I think what's really nice about this update is that it hits every kind of player. It doesn't matter whether you're grinding leaderboards, messing around with friends, or recording montages. It adds something fresh for everyone.